Oh no, they weren't. So anyway, these were $14 each, and I got 2 of them. And they are, you can probably tell, but it's like a fuzzy white, so pretty. So I'll put those on, and then I got this one to bring out. I went ahead and took my sham with me to the store. Boy, that light is bright, isn't it? Because of the pale yellow, I wanted to find something that would bring that out. So I took this off of the pillow and brought it, and I found this. Hello, sunshine. And I thought it was so cute. It's got tassels on it. I'll take off these little plastic things and put that on the bed. This one was, let's see, I don't think the pillows were on sale. This one was $12 on the tag. And, oh. Steve, we never got charged for this pillow. I don't know what that stuff is. Well, anyway, I looked on the tag, and I don't see, Steve's going to take a look at it. I don't think that she charged us. It says $12 on the ticket on the pillow.
She didn't charge us for it.
No, we didn't get charged for that.
I'll have to go back out tomorrow and tell them.
Yeah. So, well, I told Steve when we left the store, the lady that waited on us was, well, like me today, I'm real tired too. And she was real exhausted. She even said she was exhausted. And I said, honey, I don't know, but I think she missed something. I wasn't sure what it was. So I knew that, he said he looked and he didn't think she had missed anything while we were there. He was watching the little scanner thing. But yeah, she did miss that pillow. And that was what I said, $12. So we'll go to the store tomorrow and make that right. I wouldn't feel right not going in and paying for it. So anyway, I wanted to tell you what we did find a great deal on. All right, they have these Serta Perfect Sleeper sheets, okay? And they had all different sizes. And the original price says $22 up here. Well, they were all marked at, you know, different prices. This is a queen set, and it said $14.99. So I thought, well, that's great, because I love the ones that have the elastic all the way around, so it really hugs onto your mattress good, and that's what I like. These are extra wide and a boxier fit, and they are made for mattresses up to 14 inches deep, and ours is 11. So anyway, I thought $14.99, that's a good deal. Let's get a set of those. So when we got up to the register and she rang these up, and I was watching for this, $7.49. So I was like, $7.49 for a full set of nice sheets? Can't beat that. So we didn't know that they were that much on sale, or we would have probably got another set, which we might do that tomorrow when we go back to pay for that pillow. But, well, just notice this. They've got the material for the sheet set here so you can fill it. Isn't that cute? Extra wide boxer hem. Yeah. Well, that took a little bit of work and, you know, packaging ideas. Oops, I just broke the thing off. All right, let me get the bed made and we'll get those put on, show you how it looks, and then let me show you up here. I got the picture fix that I bought at the thrift store the other day, and it looks really good. But I decided, here, let me show you. Okay, I decided to take the pictures down that were around it. And as you can see up here, there are holes where the nails were. And this is that plaster walls. So anytime you have a nail or anything, sometimes it will take the paint off. The paint's actually showing up not as dark as it really is in person because of the bright. I've got my big bright light in here so that I could see to make sure I get that painted good. But anyway, so I thought it looked prettier by itself without having all the extra pictures and stuff around it. But I do not like having those holes show up like that. So of course I've got to get those painted, and Steve found the paint that my mom had the girl use when she painted the bedroom. So this was still in the basement and it's still in good shape. If anybody's wondering, this color is actually called, oh, I know why he doesn't have a color. I think that we ended up taking something and they made the color of paint that we needed. But anyway, there's the numbers if anybody would want the same color. It's a dark color, but it is a really pretty green. So, all right, let me get those holes patched up. All right, what do y'all think? Isn't it pretty? I think it adds a lot. Really pretty. And the hole up there, I got those fixed. Painted those spots. I put a little bit of toothpaste. I didn't have any of that Bondo stuff or whatever it is that you put in the holes. So I used toothpaste, and tomorrow I will repaint it because I painted it once and decided the holes were too big looking and went ahead and yeah, put some toothpaste in it. Now I really wish that burgundy was not on the picture, and who knows, I might end up taking that apart and painting that white or something eventually. I don't know, but it's still, the picture itself is beautiful, and I really like my new pillows. It's so, hello sunshine. Just love that. All right, hope you guys think it looks cute too. Oh, I ended up putting the picture that I painted over here on this side because it was not big enough to go above the bed, even though the colors match with the yellows and all that green, but just wasn't big enough to go above the bed. So Steve and I were talking again today about possibly still getting those little Bob White quill. They were adorable, as I told you guys, and I've been looking up a lot of stuff about them, and a lot of people raise them to eat. Now they don't get very big, but they're very easy to clean, and if you would want to eat them. But we were mostly wanting to raise some so that we could reintroduce them to the wild and hopefully that help their start back in Ohio. Well, the thing that I looked at is they do not breed well in raised young in captivity. So, we would have to exactly time it out perfect because they're not like chickens. The females don't lay eggs every day. They only do it seasonal. And like I think it's the spring, I think it was 2 times a year. I can't remember exactly. But anyway, they breed for life, and their life they don't have a very long life. I think it was 2 to 5 years, and that's not very long. A lot of chickens live at least 10 years, probably because they're so small and because they are hunted, not only by people but other animals. And so anyway, if we get them, I think that we'll probably put them in that little chicken coop that we have, and instead of raising them on the wire, I don't think I want to do that. I think that I'll make the bottom of the little coop be as natural as we can. We'll put some of the pine chips in it, and they said to put, if you have a larger area, you can actually put like fake Christmas trees and stuff in there, because that's how they'll have to hide when they are set free. They'll have to learn how to hide under brush. So that was an idea that we had, to put fake things in there. Excuse me. So if we could even plant some tall, like prairie grasses around and inside that little area, we could also connect that to the run that we had made for the chickens last summer. Remember that? That's a good size run. And I told Steve if we could fill that run up and make it look as natural as their habitat as we can, then they'll have somewhere to hide and learn how to, they make little tunnels through the prairie grasses, and that's how they survive and outrun animals and people that hunt them, dogs. I watched several videos on how to fix them, cull them, as they call it. I could never do it unless I was absolutely starving. And I am not saying nothing against anybody else that can. It's more power to you. But, I grew up, my dad and brothers, well, my brothers still hunt, but my dad was an avid hunter, and, he fixed just about everything that he hunted. But I never liked eating the wild meat, and I'm really not a great big meat eater anyway. So for me, it's just about having things to share with people. And my grandchildren, they love different types of animals, and that's what I would like to teach them. Not only to take care of them, but if they need to, that they would be able to use them for food. So I want to kind of teach them the whole, everything about them. I told Steve I wish so very badly that things would have turned out to where we could have had just a small farm. And I don't mean like to be able to farm with great big tractors and all that, which would have been amazing, but just something big enough to where we would have a barn, because I would love to have a couple of, goats and things like that. Just more like a petting zoo. That would be a dream. But at my age, yeah, it's a lot of work. And as you guys know, my health is not great, so I get all these ideas up in my head that my head thinks that I'm still young and able to do those things, and then during the day it's like, it's not going to happen, Nina. You're not going to be able to do that. I know I had somebody say something about when we went on vacation, and I said, I was so thankful that Steve was able to rent us one of those 12-passenger vans so that I had the entire middle seat to myself. I took a pillow and I took a little blanket throw, and I laid down almost the entire time that we traveled. And all the way home, I did lay down the whole time. But so, I know a lot of you guys are probably facing that right now in your lives, because a lot of women watch my show, and they're older women, and I'm not talking about your age. We all grow older every day if we're blessed enough to. But I know that sometimes in our lives we think of things that we'd like to do, and then we don't have the energy to do it, or our health isn't good enough to allow us to do it. So I know for me, one thing that I do now is I try to do just a little bit at a time. On my days that I'm feeling bad, I don't force myself. I know what I used to be. I used to be one hard worker. Everybody that worked with me ever always said that I worked like a man, outside. I would lift and I would clean, and I would just do everything. And I enjoyed it, and I loved it. And when I noticed that my health was not the same, we lived out in the country, and every year I would go around the house. They had, the people previous to us buying it, they had put stone around the house. So the weeds were really easy to pull in the spring when they would, weeds would grow quicker than the grass would grow. So I would go around, pull all of that out. We had one of those little ponds with a little frog that would shoot water out of its mouth. I loved that thing. And then around the pond, I had rocks piled around it, and I had like the clear Christmas lights, and I put those underneath the rocks just so the lights would not get smashed. But when you turn it on, it made it like glow in the nighttime. It was beautiful. So every year that little pond had to be cleaned out and washed out, and our fish never did live through the winter, even though I did everything that I was supposed to do. I honestly think one year we used a screen door, the screen of it, and they still ended up dying. But we had thought that maybe like the raccoons and stuff were fishing them out, because we had caught them doing that before. But anyway, so I cleaned it all out every year, and every year I did all the mulching, and I took care of all that stuff. Because that's what I enjoyed doing. And plus the house, things were different. Back then, Steve was starting to get sick, and we didn't know what from, and it was his liver failing. And he would take care of cutting wood. As soon as the weather got nice, he would find like an Amish farm or whatever and cut out. A lot of times they would want their fields, of course, the more acreage they had, the more produce they would have. So a lot of times they would buy other land, and going all the way up through their fields would be the fence line that had used to be before they bought out the other side. Well, this is how Steve got a lot of our wood to burn, is he would go talk to them, and he would work on, along with a lot of other people, getting all of the trees and stuff out of that fence line, and then he could have whatever he cut down. So he was always a real hard worker, and he was doing stuff to get ready for winter. So the year that I noticed my health was, I started noticing that we had a big wooden box that filled up the one side of our front porch, and we would keep our wood in that box, and that way all you had to do is fill that up once every day, or maybe two if it wasn't that cold out. And then we could just go from the house right out on the front porch and not have to go all the way out to our big garage that we had. So that first year that I noticed is I would go out and get wood, and I used to stack it. I'm talking, big pieces. I would stack in my left arm, and I don't know if you can see, but I would stack it all up here as far and as I could get it. And then I would do like this and have one of the kids come out and stack it the rest of the way. And then I would take that in the house, because we had one of those great big, like a furnace type stoves in our family room. And if you pack that thing full, it would last for a long time. So I started noticing that I didn't have strength like that anymore. So I thought, well, it's probably, maybe I'm just getting older or whatever. Well, then that coming spring, I always used to come over here when Mom and Dad lived here to this house, and I would take care of putting her mulch down if she wanted flowers planted, any of that type of work. I always did it. Painting, I always painted everything, the railings or whatever she needed done, I would do. Well, I went to Walmart. She needed a bunch of bags of mulch. So I get to Walmart, I pulled back behind the store and talked to one of the ladies there, and she said, go ahead and get whatever you need, and then I'll send out a cashier. They had a portable cashier register, and they would bring it out into the flower garden area. So I struggled with getting the big bags of mulch into the trunk. And at that time, we had an Impala, one of those great big older cars. And the trunk was deep. So I filled it up. I don't even know how many bags I had in there, probably close to 10, I would say. And so I got here to Mom and Dad's, and I pulled around the back so I wouldn't have to carry them or use the wheelbarrow, and was going to just dump out most of them for where I needed them at. And I got down to the bottom of the trunk, and my energy was done. It was done. I could not lift them up out of there. And I thought, man alive, there is something wrong with me, because I have never had that problem. And that was the year that I had, it just went from there and got worse and worse and worse. And it got to be where I painted the little, on our porch, the little spindle things. I painted those, and after I got done painting those, I was in bed for 4 days. So that's when the chronic fatigue and the fibromyalgia started. And I truly think to this day that it was all from stress. I had a lot of stress going on in my life, and Steve had started getting sick and was making some really bad decisions. He paid all the bills, and he was making really bad decisions, and I didn't know why. It was because he was getting ammonia in his brain from where his liver was failing. So anyway, I won't get into all that, but I had a load of stress that I would not wish upon anyone. But that's when I noticed. So now that I've been, dealing with all that, besides having the heart issues, I still love to clean, and I still love to work and be outside. That's my favorite thing. I had an aunt, she was married to an uncle of mine. I still call her my aunt. But she came over today, and we always, keep her in. She loves our eggs, so we always keep her in eggs. And so she'll come over whenever she runs out and get a couple dozen. And she's always been so kind and helpful that we just give them. You can't sell anything nowadays, not around here. And I came to realize that it's just a hobby. We apparently are doing this for a hobby because I've put it on social media and we can't sell eggs. We might get lucky and sell 1 or 2 dozen, but I could probably do better if we went to a farmer's market or something and set up a booth, but to me, it's not worth it. I would rather help somebody out if they needed them. So anyway, my aunt came today and we visited for a long time, and it was really nice. And she said, she was talking about how she loves to sit at her house. She lives way out in the country. And she loves to watch the squirrels and the birds. And I said, I know exactly how you feel, because I can sit on my swing and watch the chickens, and it brings me a peace and a joy that I just love it. That's why once in a while I'll try to film just a couple extra minutes of the chickens for you guys, because I know so many of you would love to have had them when you were younger, or if you lived at a place where you could have them, you would have them now. So I try to share that because I know that you get enjoyment from that. So yeah, I told my aunt, I said, and she's known me my entire life, but I told her, I said, I have never, ever been one that had to have everything. It doesn't take a lot to make me content. And I think what has caused my life to be that way is because I started going to church as, I accepted Christ as my Savior when I was very young. And I think ever since then in my life, things have not always been perfect, but God has always seen us through. And for that reason, I'm thankful for every single thing that I get. Just like today, when I got those new pillows and stuff for the bed, it just brings me happiness to know that I can make something look pretty. And I don't know, it just doesn't, I don't have to have the most expensive and the finest things in the world. I'm just so thankful that God has blessed me with what I do have. And don't ever think that I don't appreciate everything that I have, because I do. I really, really do. I always say God's been good to me. It's much better than I deserve. But yeah, I just thought I would share that today. Just chit chat with you a little bit, because you guys don't really see a lot of our real lives. You might see maybe a 10-minute, 12-minute video with us dealing with something with the chickens, but as far as sitting down and having a little chit chat with us, I don't get to do that very often, and I know some of you love that, so I wanted to do that for you this evening. For all of you that do have chickens, I'm going to do a video on that coffee grounds that we got for inside the coop. That stuff's been amazing, you guys. It still smells good. And when you clean it up, you know how Steve made that little compartment, for them when they're on their roost and they're pooping and it falls down in it, and we mix that with the sand. The other stuff that we mixed it with, I can't remember the name of it, but it was like people using a horse stall. It would cause the whole area to be wet, so when I would scoop it up, it would be a bunch of the sand and the product and stuff would have to be thrown away. Well, now that we're using the coffee grounds, it's amazing, because when they poop, even if I don't clean it up for a week, or if Steve doesn't get to it for a week, it's just the little plop of poop. It dries that out and you scoop it up real easy. It doesn't stick, it doesn't turn like a clay, So anybody that's, wanting to see our update on that, I will be doing a video on that and showing how it looks. And I really wish that there was a smell-o-vision because honestly it still smells really good in there. You open up the door and it's just fresh. So yeah, I think that was one of the best things that we have done. And thanks to everyone that sent me emails about those products, because a lot of times if I don't see it, I'm not going to know about it. So I really appreciate the emails that the ones, especially Eileen, she sends me emails a lot about different products like that for the chickens, and I appreciate that. So, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and close for tonight, and I'll try my best to get on and make a video tomorrow. Not sure what we're going to get into tomorrow. If it's going to rain, I heard it might rain. I don't know. But I just wanted to say take care, and I hope everyone had a great Easter and a celebration with your family, and that you all had a great time. I know that we did, and I'm so, so happy that we got to have a chance to be with our family. And Steve and I cooked dinner, and it was just really nice. A really, really nice, beautiful day. So anyway, have a great night, and we'll see you on the next video.